Hey, good afternoon. Jason from Appraise 1970 Chevy Elcamino. Pre-purchase inspection for an out-of-state buyer. Very, very slick-looking red-black combination. Features an LS7 cowl induction setup. Represented as a replacement over-the-counter purchase of a block back in the day. Looking at the casting number, 140154445 was used as a truck block configuration in 2 and 4 bolt main configurations. The tall deck blocks, if you could actually see the upper water pump bolt hole, the water pump's installed so we can't see that, but on the tall deck blocks, this bolt hole is supposed to be less than 1/4 of an inch away from the top of the deck surface and over a 1/2 inch away on the non-tall deck surface block, so not going to be able to use that for any type of reference point. It's represented as built with solid lifters, set up with an original Winter's Foundry snowflake on the aluminum GM intake 3963569. Got a Holley dual feed, very clean reproduction unit, upgraded MSD, a billet distributor, and a 6AL box. All the wiring is nice and new, not just the retainers and the spark plug wires, but the actual wiring harness has been changed out in the vehicle, if you can see that in there. Looks nice up under the dash. Trim code 771 is saddle tan, not black, but and then trim code 48 on the paint. I think 48's dark green, if I recall. I'm positive it's not red. Somebody can dispute that if you want. We got a book at home, we can look it up. Inner fenders were done very nicely when the car was taken apart. Period correct power steering. Booster was updated, upgraded. Aluminum radiator, antifreeze is full and clean. The oil is clean and full. Delco battery and Delco alternator. Air cleaner unit appears to be a reproduction unit, and the solenoid driven cowl induction looks like it was all recently replaced as well. Other than some detailing, it's in pretty nice shape underneath the hood. It is a Kansas City built car, 02C on the build date. 3rd week in February 1970. We're in tight circumstances in this garage. It's been raining here today, so I haven't been able to get the car out, but the sun's starting to come out. So hoping to take at least a short ride with it in a few minutes, if you can hang out that long. Crawling up underneath it, there's every indication through the body bushings and hardware that the car's been frame off. Didn't see any lower core support damage. Didn't see any sections added or cut to in the front frame horns. Aftermarket oil pan. No major leaks coming down out of the front or rear main seals. Richmond 6-speed was added to the car. That's pretty cool. You can see those headers are a little bit aged and beat up. Not too bad. They get that way. 2.5 inch exhaust all the way back to some Flowmaster cans, stainless clamps. Front suspension's tidy. Bolt-in upper ball joints. The boots are torn and a little bit of grease here and there. Shocks have been changed, but suspension looks nice. Backing plates, dust shields are in pretty good shape. This one's got a little bit of chewed up action going on. The car really needs a healthy, stealthy detailing. Fuel lines and brake lines were all changed along the way. Floor pans look great. I saw restoration photos earlier and they seem to match the condition pretty nicely. Back underneath, rockers are in good shape. There's a little bit of filler according to my gauge in this lower fender dog leg. Pinch welds are good looking. Presence of original factory spot welds all along there. Up in here we can see evidence of some new hardware. And bushings. I don't know if you just saw them or not. I was panning hoping you were looking. By the way, if you're watching this video, it's because the guy that hired me to do the inspection decided not to purchase the car. These videos don't get published publicly unless somebody decides they're not going to buy the vehicle they hire me to inspect. So if you hire me to inspect a vehicle, the whole world's not seeing it until you see it first and make your mind up. And then it kind of goes out there. Jason Phillips from Auto Appraise. 800-301-3886 if you need service like this. Conducted in Michigan and northern Indiana, northern Ohio frequently by video. All new fuel lines, wiring to the fuel tank, brakes, etc. going down that right frame rail. GM 12-bolt setup with a sway bar, too tight to the wall back there to get underneath the back of the vehicle, but I did. The gas tank looks great. Frame rails look just like they did up front, cleaned and painted, not bent. That's always nice. It's represented to be a Curry-built rear end. It's not a Ford housing, obviously, as you can see. Backs of the drums are nice and clean. Hotchkiss, lower, solid trailering arms. And the floor pans look really nice and stout and clean. Unfortunately, my OCD tendencies will not allow me to cut you out of the back end view so you can see it from the side here. Pretty much as described. But the rails look really nice and straight. Didn't see any stretch marks in the die holes. A little bit of a buckle in that back tail panel support. Nothing too serious. Bumpers were changed. Plated hardware was used. That's nice. Don't always see that. Let's cover some other stuff. Chevy Rally, slightly larger in the rear than in the front. Wheel paint was redone and not too scarred up. A little bit of rust forming way on the inside seams, if you can see that. Plenty of meat left on the tires. Bed compartment's in nice shape, save a few scratches, a little chip there. A little bit of general use was applied, but otherwise it seems like it was done very nicely. Up under the mats, very nice and clean still. Hardware is nice. Back along the back of the vehicle, tail light bezels, reverse lights, trim. All that shows very nicely. Again, tight view. Glass, rear and side glass are all original. Windshield's been changed. This driver's side glass has got some little DA marks along here. I think they're probably showing up in this video. But it rolls up and down nicely. Vent windows crank out as they should. All soft ray markings are present. Windshield's in great shape. A tiny little stone splattered down here. Maybe one other one. Vinyl top shows nicely. Looks just like this on both sides. Nothing to complain about. Doors open and close nicely. At least this one does. Can't get into the other one just yet, but we will. Door skin lips look very nice. Replacement door panels. Replacement straddle bucket seat covers. Correct loop style carpet's been replaced. The dash cap is in a very nice shape. Replacement round pod gauges. Replacement Sonomatic AM radio. Original heater controls. Glove box is in nice shape. Kick panels are in nice shape. 6-speed setup. Hurst shifter aftermarket gauges. Newer wiring present. Spare and jack in the back. Headliner's nice. Dome works. Seat belts were restrapped. Again, nothing really to complain about here. Good jam detail and presentation. Here's an exploded view I took time to do for the client, and this will point out some of the facts about the vehicle. Chips, touch-ups, areas where the magnet did not adhere. Those are those areas there with stripes in them on the left. Didn't get to test all the way back on the right side yet, but I will. So a few small touch-ups. There's a touch-up right here, chip that somebody touched up, and a wheel-through mark right on the crown of the fender. That's a bummer. But he was upset when he went through on that. He or she. Got a couple chunks left and right on the door entry. Boom, somebody chipped and touched that up. A little bit of shrinkage right here. You really got to look for it. The reflective quality is very nice on the paint. I think the job was done very nicely when it was done. Just a little bit of shrinkage right in here, a little area. Small 1/4 inch chip down to the paint surface, or down through the paint surface. No overspray on the belts. All those were taken apart and done right. No major door dings, no obvious exterior rust. Both sides look just like that. A little bit of weak magnetic adhesion down here in the dog leg. Door skins are in pretty good shape. A little bit of filling that was done here on the bed, and a little bit of filling I saw in the restoration photos, which made sense. No major rot out was seen though down along the bottom. A little bit of lack of adhesion right here in this section probably did get repaired. Paint meter readings were pretty good otherwise. 8.0. This is where I didn't get a read down here earlier. Little filler. We're good up there. 7.5. Door corners. I'm not going to go through the whole car again, but you get the idea. Everything gets tested. .63 degrees on the block temperature. 66 on the ground. Getting ready to fire it up. So a little bit of seepage there. We discussed some paint peel. Just finished up doing some paint meter readings after the owner pulled it out. Reflective quality on the back here is nice. That came off. Again, the trim's in nice shape. The bumper chrome is really nice. They probably replaced it. There was a little small mark where they were putting the bumper on and they accidentally kind of bumped the body there. That cleans up. Down along the splash area, it's real clean. Vehicle's represented to only have 15,000 miles on it since the frame off. That's what the odometer's reading, just over that. There's some wax buildup here that's nothing to be concerned about. They didn't get off the car. There are about 3 or 4. There's a wheel through and a chip down there on the leading edge. But I can't get a hold of him, Jason, but let's go. Let's just take off here. Sounds good. The body looks basically as straight on this side as it did on the other. All right, we're going to hop in and go for a ride. All right, 65, 70 pounds of cold oil pressure at idle. Temperature's not coming up yet. It's charging. A little bit of noise you hear behind me is the pump that operates and helps assist the power brakes for the boost. it's not nearly as loud as it was just a minute ago,
Well,
actually.
that's because the engine is...
Pump kicking back up when
as soon as you put the brake on, it'll...
I didn't have my camera up here to pop the... I witnessed the door going open.
Oh, okay.
Does that cowl door, does it function normally?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be because it doesn't have vacuum.
Okay.
I'm taking all the vacuum for the power brakes.
Tachometer is operating. Do you know if the odometer and speedometer are working okay?
Yeah, we'll go down here.
Looks like the clock is in on.
Oh, I'm not even sure.
But turn signals.
Yeah.
See the right?
I can't. The left doesn't work, I guess.
Okay.
Right does.
Alrighty. Temperature just starting to come up.
That's about all I want to do.
Okay, that's about 50, but we got odometer and speedometer are turning. Feels pretty nice. You can kind of let your hands drift off the wheel a little bit and just kind of show the car going down the road straight. Okay. Sounds good. When you're applying the brakes, where is that pedal halfway through the travel, or?
Maybe that not quite that far. I mean, it does have power brakes, so we kick in right away.
Sure. What about the engagement of the clutch? Maybe when we turn around here, you can let me know where that's coming off the ground. I'll test it a little when we get back to the parking lot.
Close to the, right in the middle, I would say. I mean, I wouldn't adjust it one way or the other.
Linkage vibration, maybe?
Yeah.
driver's seat right now. The clutch engages nicely right off the floor within a couple inches. He was accelerating kind of at a real slow or moderate pace, so I didn't really have a chance to feel any shudder, but no reason to believe that that's the case. Brake light just came on. I'm pumping the brakes, but now it's off. I did not try to set the parking brake, although it does appear that it will work. Oil pressure's holding up, 45-ish pounds. Temperature's climbing. We're going to let it pause and run a few more minutes. Wipers are sweeping. Dash lights are engaging. Hard to see them up there. Saw them earlier in the garage, at least on the speedometer. Lights do not appear to be hooked up. Brake lights are working. Car's been running about 15 minutes now. Horn works. Nothing falling out of it. So to recap, we've got a working tach. We're idling at about 1400 hours. The clock is in op. Temp gauge up top is not being used. We're letting it sit here in heat sink. It's been running probably 7, 8, 9 minutes since we've been back from the test drive. And temperature doesn't seem to be climbing to anything aggressive. Oil pressure still holding up just under 40 pounds as it warms up. Jason from Appraise finished up a pre-purchase inspection on a 1970 Kansas City built ElCamino for a pre-purchase inspector, or for a pre-purchase inspection. If you need help like this, 800-301-3886. Thanks a lot.